Loving v. Virginia was a Supreme Court case that started on April 10th, 1967, and it ended on June 12th, 1967.
In this case, Mildred and Richard Loving got married. Richard was a white man and Mildred was a black woman. The problem with this was that Virginia had a ban on interracial marriages dating all the way back to 1691. They were sentenced to a year in prison because they violated this law.
The law was called the Racial Integrity Act of 1924. In this act, a white person was prohibited from marrying any non-white person unless they were a descendant of Pocahontas.
The Supreme Court said that the only purpose for this law was to discriminate against black people.
Therefore, it was ruled unconstitutional because it was a violation of the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. The first party in the case was Richard and Mildred Loving.
They were arguing that being sentenced a year in prison for getting married is unconstitutional, and the law needs to be changed. Richard and Mildred Loving filed a class action suit in the U.S. stating interracial marriage was not a violation of the Equal Protection Clause because both the white and the non-white spouse were punished equally for the crime of miscegenation.
A 3-judge district court panel decided to allow the Lovings to present their constitutional claims to the Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals. Chief Justice Warren said, "Marriage is one of the basic rights of man, fundamental to our very existence and survival."
This quote shows that the Chief Justice was on the side of Richard and Mildred Loving. This could have helped them win the case.
Richard and Mildred Loving thought that there should be no legal issues with an interracial couple getting married. The second party in the case was the state of Virginia.
They were arguing that this violated the Racial Integrity Act of 1924.
In this act, a white person was prohibited from marrying a black person. A quote is, "Almighty God created the races white, black, yellow, Malay, and red, and he placed them on separate continents. But for the interference with his arrangement, there would be no cause for such marriages. The fact that he separated the races shows that he did not intend for the races to mix."
This was a quote that the judge Liam M. Basil used during the court case. It shows that he was more biased towards Party 2, which was the state of Virginia.
In the end, Party 1, which contained Richard and Mildred Loving, won the case.
The Racial Integrity Act of 1924 was ruled unconstitutional because the only reason for the act was to segregate against black people.
The result of the case was an increase in interracial marriages in the U.S. Ultimately, this led to the legalization of gay marriages.
Because if this had never happened, then there'd be no example to back it up. This case was a big step for equality in America. It helped give black people equal rights and eventually helped gay people have equal rights.